Good morning. It is Monday, February 9th, 8:37 a.m. Remember last week when I said that the first week in February was a bit chaotic because I was like tying up a lot of loose ends with the job and getting things together. I had to figure out unemployment. I had to figure out my health insurance, which took literally all week to figure that out because they were doing something weird with my health insurance. That was last week. This week I said I was going to have a more peaceful, chill week and prioritize resting. It's Monday morning and it's already starting a little chaotic. I will say though that I was able to sleep very soundly over the weekend, and that was a priority. I went to the chiropractor on Saturday and explained my situation, like I'm losing my health coverage at the end of the month, so this might be my last appointment for a while. I had been going because of like chronic shoulder pain, and we reached a point where my shoulder was like, it had stabilized and then kind of went backwards. Funny enough, right before all of this layoff stuff started to happen, my chiropractor had said like if the pain starts to come back, then the next thing would be to order an MRI. So that's what we're doing. I called this morning, first thing this morning. I found a clinic near me. Well, it's kind of far, but I could still get to it relatively easily. And they open at 6 a.m. Online they say they have weekend hours, but apparently weekend hours are only if you already have a scheduled appointment and not for scheduling appointments, because I was on the phone yesterday trying to make a call, schedule an appointment. I was prepared to go in yesterday if they had any openings, or to come in first thing today if they had openings. I call as soon as they open at 6 a.m., right? Because mind you, I've been up since like 5:30 a.m., probably before then. And call at 6 a.m. Somebody answers immediately, which I was so grateful for. I have my little MRI referral note, which is literally a referral page from the same clinic that I'm calling, the MRI clinic that I'm calling. I call, tell the lady I need to schedule an appointment for an MRI, and she's like, okay, do you need contrast? Or that was just, I think that's what she asked, like if I needed contrast. And I said, well, the form that I have, because there are little boxes on the form in the section that she was referencing that said MRI contrast, there's a section for the medical provider to check a box that says with contrast, without contrast, with and without contrast, or as needed. Those are all options on this form from this clinic that I'm calling. So the lady says, I tell her like the form that I have says as needed. So she says, well, I can't schedule you for an appointment if you don't tell me if it needs to have contrasts. And so I'm like, well, this is a referral form for your specific clinic. Like it has the name on the clinic on the form. So if this is an option that you all have and you allow medical doctors to like check off a box as a referral, shouldn't you be able to accommodate everything that's on here if I'm calling the right number for an MRI? And she was like, I can't speak to what's on the form. I just need to know if it's with or without contrast. So you need to contact your doctor and tell them to tell you if it's with or without contrast. So I'm like, lady, this is not just some random referral. This is a referral from your clinic, which lets me know that unless this is an out-of-date form, there's a way for you to code this appointment that reflects exactly what I'm telling you and reflects exactly what my doctor has checked off on the form that your clinic has provided them. So I don't understand. I wasn't about to argue with that lady at 6 a.m. and I'm just like, okay, hung up. Email my doctor, like, can you let me know if this is with or with contrast? I don't think the office is open today, so I don't even know if they're going to get back to me today, which is really frustrating because I wanted to get all of this stuff scheduled today. Because at my appointment on Saturday, the chiropractor was saying like, yeah, MRI is very expensive, so like let's get your health insurance to pay for that while you still have it. Now that made complete sense to me, so I'm like, yeah, let me get this scheduled immediately, hoping that I would be able to get in today or even tomorrow. Tomorrow I have something to do, so it wouldn't be ideal. And then Friday I have a physical, which I'm so glad I already had the physical scheduled. So I'm going to see if she can pack everything into that physical and sort of explain the situation. Like I don't know when I'll have health coverage again in the same way. So let's get all of this stuff done in this appointment. I called my dentist this morning because I've also been having this ongoing tooth pain from a dentist. So against my better judgment, and this is not me blaming myself because this ain't my fault. This ain't my fault. This is a dentist's fault at this particular practice that I go to and will not be going to moving forward. I have my own dentist that I followed to this practice when they left their last practice. But at this new office, they are only there, like they have a very limited schedule. So I didn't realize that when you go to have your teeth cleaned, and I, have consistently gone to have my dental cleanings every 6 months. It didn't even dawn on me when I made the appointment that I needed to schedule for a day that my dentist was going to be there, or else they would have a random dentist do like the final exam, right? The hygienist goes in and cleans it. She asks if I have any questions or any concerns with my teeth. And then after she's done cleaning my teeth, the dentist who's on duty that day or who has been scheduled for my appointment comes in and does a final check before I am dismissed from the appointment. When I went to this appointment, I had my teeth cleaned. Now this lady is raving about, oh, you're doing such a good job. Your teeth are so clean. It's just been 6 months since my last dental cleaning, but like I was really prioritizing my oral health because dental coverage is expensive. Dental, even with insurance, like restorative care still costs some money because most dental insurance does not cover everything at 100%. So I'm like, I'm not about to have no more caps. I already have like, I think a cap. I had a root canal a couple years ago, which I really didn't want to have, but it was just, I've had really, really bad luck with dentists in this area as part of the reason why I would like to leave. Because I just feel like the medical system in my area and the dental and all of it, the whole body care is just not where it should be in my opinion. Or perhaps this is just American healthcare system that as an adult, I'm like really seeing the realities of like this sham of a system and like the low quality and low standards, which I don't get. I don't understand. But anyway, that's not the point of this conversation. It kind of is, but I have this appointment done. The hygienist is telling me like, wow, you've done a really good job maintaining your teeth, this and that. So the dentist comes in, says the same thing, like, wow, no bleeding, like you're doing a great job flossing, all of this stuff, right? And so then the dentist says, oh, well, I'm gonna schedule you to let's replace one of your fillings. Now, mind you, this is a filling, I got a lot of fillings in my mouth, right? This is not a filling that was giving me any issues. And I'm not new to restorative dental work. Like I said, I have a ton of fillings in my mouth that I've had to have done over the course of years, some from childhood, some I had replaced recently trying to get the metal fillings out of my mouth because some of them were really old. This was a newer filling, but for whatever reason, this dentist decided that they wanted to replace this filling. And so against my better judgment, this is where I wish I would have, if I could go back in time, my internal alarm was going off like, I don't know you, number one. And number two, because you're saying that you're the one who I don't know, dentist. You're the dentist that I don't know. You're the one that's saying this filling needs to be replaced. You're going to be the one that they put on the treatment plan. So if I want my dentist to do it, it's going to cost me extra money, or I'm going to have to come in for a consult with my dentist, which is going to cost an extra $90 out of my pocket because you are now who my insurance is going to bill for my 6-month cleaning and any post procedures as a result of this appointment. So I regret not saying like this tooth isn't giving me any problems and like your justification for just needing to do it because it's old is not good enough. That's not good enough for me. Like, no, I didn't say that. And I wish that I would have, because what happens, I go in for the treatment, the restoration work, and the person messes my tooth up. They do the cavity wrong to the point where I never really get, like, they ask you to do all of this biting and stuff when they're done, when you're still numb. So it's like, I don't really know. Like, bite, right? They got you biting on the paper. My mouth is numb. I can't really tell. When I got home and the numbness wore off, I noticed for the next couple of days that I was in some pain. Not necessarily like sharp tooth pain, but like it was very uncomfortable. It felt uncomfortable when I was flossing, and my teeth are already really tightly packed together. So like I floss my teeth a lot, multiple times a day, sometimes depending on what I'm eating. And so I was flossing this area where the tooth was just repaired, and it was very sensitive. It felt like it felt like a nerve was exposed. If you've ever experienced that or know what it feels like to have a nerve exposed, that's what it felt like. So I dealt with this pain for like a couple of weeks, honestly, because I was so hesitant to go back. I called and I was like, listen, I'm having this pain as a direct result of this dentist in my mouth, and I need a resolution. I want to see my dentist. So they're like, well, if we schedule with your dentist because he didn't do the work, then you're going to have to pay this extra $90. Okay, sure. And I'm telling them what's wrong. It feels like the person did my filling wrong. That's what it feels like. I'm experiencing pain when I floss. It feels like my nerve is exposed. I can't chew on that side. But it wasn't sensitive to hot or cold. It was just sensitive to pressure. So if I'm biting anything, if I'm biting a chip, if I'm biting even soft stuff. I remember eating like a dinner roll and trying to chew on that side was so painful. So I make the appointment. At this point, I think I had put it off and I was like, maybe I'll try to figure this out on my own. And it got so unbearable. I was like, fine, I'll pay the $90 because this person I'm never seeing this person again. And I wanted it on the record, like, this is the reason why my pain is what it is. It's because he did something to my mouth. I get to the dentist to see my dentist. He's like, yeah, I guess they told him what I said because it was a very strongly worded appointment scheduling that I made because I was not fooling around and they were not about to schedule me with that person that caused me pain. You get one chance to prove yourself to me when it comes to dental work. And because I've had so much of it, I'm done with bad dentists moving forward. I get in the chair and my dentist is like, starts off the appointment like, honestly over explaining. Talking about like, well, we can't really say it's anybody's fault and this and that. And, like the tooth was old and like blah, 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 or the filling was old and so blah, 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 and X, Y, and Z, and like not assuming any responsibility. And like, honestly, did I expect him to say like, yeah, Dr. So-and-so really dropped the ball and shouldn't have even scheduled you because this tooth didn't have any damage. It didn't need anything to be done to it and messed up your mouth. Now, this dentist that I was talking to, who's, my dentist until I find a new dentist at this point, I've been working with this person for like maybe 5 or 6 years. I had had a series of really bad dentists, people who had basically gone in, butchered my teeth, and then I had to pay out of pocket to have these repairs done because really messy fillings. And I had gone through this process because I wanted all of the metal fillings that I had removed. So I was willing to pay out of pocket to have that done because, dental insurance only pays for so much. But I was on a treatment plan with one dentist. They were doing some work, didn't do the work well at all. I was having pain. They wouldn't prescribe me any medication. I needed a root canal for one of the teeth. And it was like a natural dentist, so they wouldn't do a root canal. Anyway, that's beside the point, right? I'm talking to my dentist. I'm like, I understand that you're not going to assume responsibility and you're not going to blame your colleague who did this to my mouth for what's going on, and y'all would rather blame my teeth. But what I'm going to say to you is pure facts. And the fact is, this tooth was not bothering me before Dr. So-and-so put his hands in my mouth. So your truth can be your truth. My truth is that Dr. So-and-so caused the pain. Regardless of what you think the state of this tooth was, the tooth was in there chilling just fine. I don't want to hear that it was the tooth and the nerve and all of that stuff. Yeah, now there's damage because of Dr. So-and-so's poor work. Let's keep it a buck. But I get that you're not going to say that because y'all are colleagues and you don't want your practice to be liable. I understand. But like, don't do this right now. So we have that conversation. And I had told Dr. So-and-so, because I ended up, before I saw my dentist, I went to go see Dr. So-and-so because they were like, you can see Dr. So-and-so for free because he did it. Go in there with Dr. So-and-so. And I like read him the filth. Like, listen, I didn't have no issues with this tooth until you did this work. And I want you to know how unhappy I am with this pain that I'm feeling. And it's your fault. So you can say whatever you want to say. All I know is that when I came in here for this cleaning, all of these teeth in my mouth were just fine. And y'all were raving about how clean these teeth were. And that's not the case anymore. And you caused me pain. So that's how I'm viewing it. You can say what you want to say. I'm the patient though. I'm the one that's experienced your poor work. And this is my report back to you. I'm not happy about this. And I told him dead to his face, like, I want you to know I'm not happy about this. Straight face, that was it. And he was like, I understand. If you cause a patient pain, I understand the mental toll that could take on any sort of like medical healthcare practitioner, right? I understand the mental toll that could take on that individual, but that also doesn't give you a right to just like try to gaslight the patient. Like, oh, well, your tooth was, no, my tooth was fine until you put your hands in my mouth. My cat's about to come over because she wants me to calm down. She's my emotional support cat. All of that to say, my dentist resolution was like, oh, well, I can't tell what's going on with this tooth. It could be cracked. It could be the nerve or this or that. Now, I will say that when I went to see Dr. So-and-so, one thing that he did in trying to resolve my pain was to, like, if you've ever had a cavity filled and you get to the end of the appointment and they're checking to see high spots, right? I think that there was a spot that is just too high in my mouth right now currently, and there's a spot that he shaved down too low. It's too high in one spot, so that's causing some discomfort and some pressure on the nerve of that tooth, and it's too low in some spots, so like my nerve probably is exposed at some point, or it's like a very, very thin layer of enamel or something. I don't know. I'm not a dentist. I don't have all the proper dental terminology. I'm just going based on how it feels. But I will say that I have been oil pulling for the past, how many months ago was that? I think I went last year in like October to have my dentist look at it. No, that was November. It was early November I went. Since November, I've still had sensitivity. My dentist prescribed anti-sensitivity toothpaste, which I used for a while and then stopped using that, and I started oil pulling, and I started taking black seed oil because I'm like, at this point, let me heal this myself. And I think that I would have been able to heal it because in November I was having sensitivity flossing the teeth, right? Flossing my teeth. Even when I was brushing with the anti-sensitivity toothpaste, I was still having sensitivity when I flossed my teeth. When I started taking the black seed oil and when I started oil pulling, I haven't been oil pulling for very long, but I noticed a significant difference. I would say around Christmas time, I was able to floss and I didn't have any pain at all. I was like, oh shoot, I actually solved my problem. And then I realized that while flossing wasn't bothering me, biting was still bothering me, which confirmed my own hypothesis that there was a high spot on that filling. And for whatever reason, they were just in the mood to gaslight me instead of actually investigating to see what was going on with the tooth. So I called this morning, very long-winded way to say that I called this morning to get in an appointment. And when I scheduled the appointment, the lady was like, I don't see a treatment plan, so I can't promise that there's going to be any work done when you come. And I said, because it'll just be the dentist looking to see what the issue is. So I said, the dentist has already seen this issue. This is something I've come here for multiple times and there's been no resolution. The resolution last time was to give me anti-sensitivity toothpaste. And I said the resolution should have been for the dentist that knows how to repair this tooth to replace the filling, which he refused to do. I need a resolution before I lose this dental coverage at the end of the month. So she booked me an appointment. I'm going later in the month. Who knows? Maybe I'll have some type of dental miracle by that point and I won't even need to go. If I can get this resolved, I really, really do not want to have any sort of root canal or anything like that. I think the way my dentist was talking last time was he couldn't tell at this point if it was like if the tooth was cracked or what, or if it could be repaired, because the x-ray wasn't showing anything. The x-ray wasn't showing anything, which further confirmed to me, if the x-ray is not showing you anything, if I'm not failing any tests for needing a root canal, I can still feel hot and cold. It's not the nerve, because a crack would show up in the x-ray. I would assume you could see a hole in my tooth in the x-ray. You should be able to see a crack in the x-ray, but you don't see that because that's not the issue. But they don't want to listen to patients, and that really pisses me off. And I think another part, I know I've been talking a lot about like nervous system regulation, self-mastery. Another thing that I've really been practicing a lot in 2025, and I will continue to do it, and I don't care if it makes people uncomfortable, is advocating for myself. And I mean like advocating really hard for myself. Like, no, there is something going on with this tooth. I need you to figure it out. Here's what I feel. And if they try to skirt around, like, no, listen to what I'm saying. This is what I'm feeling. And then you go and then you like, oh yeah, that's actually it. Yeah, I know that's what it was. You just weren't listening to me because you're trying to protect homeboy over here who don't know what the he's doing. So anyway, that's how I'm spending my Monday morning. That was my Monday morning. Just a lot going on. I woke up with a pit in my stomach because I felt so anxious. I just felt like so anxious. I've been feeling really, really okay. And then I'll have moments where it's just like, oh, you got to pay all these bills. You got to survive. And I'm like, yeah, I do. have to do all of those things, but I can do all of those things also. I feel like I needed to document this because as positive and as, filled with faith as I have been feeling over the past couple of weeks as this has unfolded, I do have these, I do have these, I don't know what to ask them. I do have these random moments of panic. And today it's just now 9 o'clock and I already had like a random moment of panic and I need to chill the F out for the rest of the day. I've done everything. I'm about to do my little unemployment verification and then I don't really have anything else on my list. I haven't done my taxes yet. I had that on my list to do for yesterday and I wasn't in the right state of mind to do that. I don't think I'm in the right state of mind to do taxes today either. I have until April, so I'm not really in a rush, but those will get done at some point. I also had to remind myself when I was getting frustrated with these people that I am on my early luteal phase right now. And I have to remind myself, I have to say it out loud as a reminder to myself to have so much grace, because this is the week that is usually the darkest, the most emotionally draining, where I'm questioning everything, where I think everybody who I know hates my guts. Like this is that week for me. So I have to know that my body is going through its natural process. And like, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to be unemployed. This is new for me. I've never been unemployed before. Oh, I guess I don't have to do unemployment verification because my application is still under review. I guess I did just do it last week. I did submit it, right? Now I need to double check to make sure I submitted it. I just got distracted. I don't even know what I was talking about. Oh, yeah. So I have to have a lot of grace with myself right now because every frustration or irritation is backed with some hormonal stuff that I can't control. And so it's all just like amplified and I have to be very, very I have to be very gentle with myself this week. And I know that. So maybe it's a good thing that maybe it's a good thing that I'm not able to get this dentist appointment scheduled because the MRI seems easy enough. I think that'll be easy enough once I get it scheduled. I like my, primary care doctor, so that should be an easy appointment and I'm not worried about that. I'm happy to have that scheduled. It's probably for the best though. Oh no. I got a little plant in the window that I just made eye contact with that is so dry. I'm so glad I just saw it though. And this poor little soil is just as dry. So I think I need to take most of the plants that are still in the window out because my windows are drafty. And some of them have little cold spots appearing and are just drying out because in addition to it being drafty, I also have the heat on. I'm so distracted. I'm supposed to be taking it easy this week. So yeah, it's probably a good thing that I don't have the dentist appointment scheduled for this week because I feel like if I went this week I would be so irritated because the dentist thing has just been so ongoing for me, and that's one of my biggest triggers is like having to go to the dentist and then them gaslighting me and telling me I'm not feeling pain or they can't find it, and I'm just like, okay, I can feel it though, but okay. So I don't think I would be able to like mentally handle that well this week, and I would be sitting there with my fist balled up like Arthur. All right, y'all, I'll check in at some other time.